Welcome to That Game Show, the awkward, inappropriate, random podcast that occasionally talks about games.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to That Game Show. I am your host, Chase Bunker. Thank you so much for listening. I'm also joined by Kyle, who I don't know if he's actually going to be here because I just found out that he bought Baldur's Gate 3 just like everybody else did. And so, which, by the way, if you're listening to this, thank you for taking the time out from Baldur's Gate to actually listen to us, because, whew, that game is gaining some steam.
Yeah, I'm currently in the process of saving and quitting the game. I realize if I have it open while we play or while we record, I'm going to be playing it, so I'm going to go ahead and just stop doing that right now.
Yeah, that's we're not a Let's Play channel, not anymore. At least not right now.
We could be though.
Could we?
If right now, if I say and I record that instead, we could be. Think about that.
No, I really don't want to.
Which part of it? Do you not want to think about it? Or do you want
that? I feel like this is stuff that like I'm gonna have to bleep out. So.
That is not true.
Yes.
None of this is adult.
Yes.
No.
Yes. I've seen shows bleep that out.
Why? Wait, which part of it? The eat my or the ass part?
Why do you make this so difficult for me?
First of all, we're in the first 2 minutes, so at least you know exactly where it's at. Second of all, I don't think that's a bad thing to say. Anyway, all right, I digress. Let's go ahead and we'll agree to disagree that is stupid and that you can do it without it being censored.
Yeah, okay. Yes, I think we can agree that it's stupid. Also, as he just chugs the rest of his whiskey. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, Kyle got a haircut.
I did.
When did you get that cut? Because I just saw you at the con, so I feel like, and I know you've been busy, so you had to have gotten it pretty much like almost immediately afterward, right?
You're actually 100% correct. Literally, I got into Orlando and I was like, where's the nearest haircut place? I need to go to Great Clips. And I walked directly in. They were like, it's going to be like a 15-minute wait. I'm like, you don't understand. It's 105 degrees outside. I need this gone.
Yes. We'll talk about Tampa Bay Comic Con just a little bit. We had a lot of fun. We've got some good stories to talk about. But again, I feel like we have to talk about these two big games that just came out. I did the rare thing that I never do, and I paid full price for a game. And
Which one?
Remnant 2.
Yeah. Well, it's not Baldur's Gate, but that's okay because it's still a good game.
Baldur's Gate, I feel like when we were talking about Game of the Year potentials, I don't think anybody during the initial talks had Baldur's Gate 3 being this great.
Okay, well, I feel like part of that is because we had the early release for so long that we were just kind of like, "Ooh, is this gonna slap, or are we just gonna be early release forever?" But now we know. Oh man, were we wrong?
Yeah,
it's out.
It is gaining a lot of traction right now. It is that and Tears of the Kingdom are probably the two heavy favorites right now to win Game of the Year. I know that we've been kind of talking about like who could be nominated for it, but still just I'm surprised how quickly it gained steam, kind of like how you were saying how it was in early access for so long, and then all of a sudden it just seems like the final few weeks going in, like you started seeing more coverage of it, people kept talking about it more, and it's crazy. Like this year has been so great for gaming.
Been a great year, and I will say this as someone who did buy the early access for Baldur's Gate a few months ago. I kind of teased myself into it a little bit to kind of see what it was about. I mean, I knew that when I bought it, I'm like, we kind of stuck. You bought it, you're gonna have to play it, right? And even with the early access, I was like, damn, this feels like a complete game. I will tell you, I've only played a little bit of it since the full release came out, and even from the early access, it's another step up. I mean, I'm so impressed from 2 weeks ago when I played it and I played all this stuff, and this cutscenes were great. The voice acting was phenomenal. The world building was so good. Now I played through the exact same things from the early access now to the actual game, and they somehow made it better. I don't know how they did it. Is this what a fully and complete released game looks like? Because it's blowing my actual mind right now.
It's definitely one of those that's really surprising, just because, like you said, like you played the early access, and I feel like people even said like somehow it got better when they released like the day one patch. You're like, wait a minute, like how did this get better? Like I played it literally up to you know 0 seconds left, and it went launch, and it's crazy to see this. Like I'm happy for it. Like I'm happy for the success, and it
We have
just
a game that's finally finished.
well, I feel like we've had that for this year. We've had a lot of those games that are finished. I think you could say that about Zelda as well. You could say that about Remnant. You could say that. You could say that about Diablo 4. Now, not as much, because
Yeah, well, yeah. Boy, does that make our video from a little bit ago seem obsolete.
well, I mean, which one? We've literally had 2 videos go obsolete because of Diablo 4. One where we said, "Oh, I don't trust the launch of it," and then the other one we said, "Hey, congrats on your really great launch," and now it's just gone to crap again.
Hey, we were right then with the first time.
I guess we were.
Because at the end of the day, the launch was good, but I still don't trust it.
Yeah, I still don't either.
We were right.
Technically, we were right. So we could say we were wrong before, but now we're back in the right zone.
We're back in the rights, baby. That's what it means to be men.
Does it?
And women. Actually, women are more correct than men, typically.
Yeah, that's a good recovery.
Whoa, it's not a recovery if I'm right, okay?
I feel like we're treading.
No, it's not treading. I'm admitting that women are typically more correct than men.
Okay. Good for you on not being completely outright sexist. I'm proud of you.
That's not sexist at all.
I
It'd
mean,
be sexist to say that men are dumb.
You were very close. You were extremely close.
I think that you hate women.
Let's not do that again, because we were dangerously close the last time.
All right.
But anyway,
I love women.
Yes, I am very much aware. You do not have to justify your love to anybody. Like,
Nice to see you.
No, as if you've never needed my approval for anything.
But I want your approval right now.
Oh, okay. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Also, again, we were talking about Remnant 2. I've been playing that, and what's funny is I kind of viewed Remnant 2 as like the sequel that nobody really asked for, because I played through the Ashes like, okay, this is a really good game. I enjoyed it, and that's it. And I was surprised when they announced the second one. It's like, I didn't know this was going to be a thing, not angry at it. And the strides that it made so far, I'm still playing it, from the first one to the second one is just astronomical. It is substantially a much better game. I think it's really good. I think it's definitely... I think it should be in the Game of the Year conversation. Now, the downside is it's also coming out in the same year of Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom, so it's just going to be kind of like thrown by the wayside. The one thing I was really surprised by is they had a graphic in the first 4 days of its release. Over 1 million units were sold.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And I think that's big, because in this year of so many great games, from like Diablo 4, which I remember Diablo 4 had a great launch and at the beginning was good. Tears of the Kingdom. We've had Baldur's Gate 3. Like, that could have easily have been Kingdoms of Amalur, where, hey, you have this good game. Unfortunately, Skyrim came out 2 weeks later, and people just waited on that instead. That could have happened to them, where there was like, well, Baldur's Gate 3 is coming out.
Man, now that you say that, though, how many games do you think that we've like kind of lost to time based on just a game being good? But man, there's another game out there that's just better than good.
There's been a few.
Yeah.
Not a few. There's been a lot in history, and it sucks. The one that stands out to me is the game called Sin Episodes. There used to be a game. It was kind of like a Half-Life-esque style game called Sin. And unfortunately, it came out around the time of the original Half-Life, so it got overshadowed. Then Sin Episodes came out, and unfortunately, it came out around the same time as Half-Life 2. So it got doubly overshadowed, and they never made any more episodes after the first. So that kind of sucked.
Damn.
I'm trying to think of any that have like stood like that stand out, because I feel like there was probably a few during like the Xbox and PlayStation 2 era.
I would have to say there is. The problem is that I definitely feel like when you go back, advertising was interesting, right? Like some games got advertised to high hell, and you're like, that game, I don't even know if it's gonna be good, but it looks pretty good. Then there's other games where they kind of slid under a little bit under the radar, but they still had enough hype during the early like forum times that they were able to take off.
Yeah.
Once you kind of get into today's era, like honestly, most games, like I didn't see a lot of stuff for Baldur's Gate 3. My friend told me about it. I looked it up because he was playing Baldur's Gate 2. And I was like, wow, this looks incredible. So I was like, let me go and get Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 so I can play 3. And boy, that was hard to do because those games are not short. And I'm not exactly, free on time thrown in my pocket. So I'm like, boy, oh boy. But I am curious too. I'm definitely like, what kind of games? Let's hear from the audience, right? Do we do comment trends? What do you think of the comments of games that have been missed through history?
So I guess, are we going to do the thing on YouTube where it's like, hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment down below and tell us what games do you think got overshadowed?
100%.
So, all right. So I'm looking right now at, who is this? This is Game Rant.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified by other videos. Which, here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to go on this rant for a little bit. Speaking of Game Rant.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Do you know how frustrating it is on YouTube to find us? Like, do you know how...
Okay. No, I'm all about this rant, though, personally.
Like, here's the crazy thing. Like, do you know how I have to find our videos? I can't tell people, hey, go search for us on That Game Show. Because if you search That Game Show, you'll get a whole bunch of game show clips. Or also, like, the Video Games Show, which has been starting out at the same time as we did. But they actually put out content regularly and we didn't. But then you also see stuff that's like 100 subscribers and they make less videos than us. And so that part kind of frustrates me. And the only way for me to find the channel is that I have to search for the Grant Kirkhope interview that we did 7 years ago. It's like, I can't type in That Game Show or That Game Show podcast. I have to type in That Game Show Grant Kirkhope. So because of Grant Kirkhope, this channel is slowly staying alive. This is slowly relevant because of him. That and a clip of me singing "I Will Give You My All" with Simon Vicklin.
Yeah, that clip is continuing to this day. It's a attraction.
I don't know why.
I wonder if I took that clip. Do you think if I put that on TikTok, how many views that would get?
Oh gosh.
But like, here's the thing, right? Can you do that nowadays? Because like, I'm taking a video that was recorded a while ago and putting it out. I would have to say like TBT.
Oh yeah,
to make it valuable, right?
Oh yeah, you'd have to say TBT because.
But like that could catch some wind, right?
I don't know. Like, here's the crazy thing.
When
when I recorded that was on an iPhone 4S.
The quality suggests it was an iPhone.
Yes.
An iPhone 4S as well.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, so here are looking at Game Rant right now. They have the 10 overshadowed games that debuted alongside far bigger releases.
Wouldn't have guessed that was a thing.
I didn't know either. So these guys at least put in some research.
Good for them.
Yes.
Good for them. So
I'll list some of them. You can look it up for yourself. I don't want to like take all their content because I'm not someone who just steals content, unlike Sniper Wolf. Darksiders was overshadowed by Bayonetta. Alan Wake was overshadowed by Red Dead Redemption. Far Cry 4.
Was it though?
Don't.
Was it though?
Far Cry 4 was overshadowed by Dragon Age Inquisition.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
Let me see a few. No More Heroes 2 with Mass Effect 2. Yeah, that would be big.
Yeah, that one was. Let me go first.
Okay, so there's this one's it's a little bit flawed because it says Doom Eternal got overshadowed by Animal Crossing. Remember?
I remember memes of that though.
That was the original Barbenheimer.
It was. Now you mention it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Let's see. So I'll go with. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I know what the best one is, and I realized I didn't have to. I realized after looking at the list, yes, it's absolutely right. You know what the most overshadowed game is?
No.
I want you to think about it for a brief moment. This game came out in 2017. Okay. You're not gonna. Are you gonna take part in any of this or?
No.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Do you know how many games came out in 2017? Do you want me to come up with a list? I'll go ahead and
okay,
for you.
So here's the thing. One of the most overshadowed games, and it's very true because this franchise has the worst luck ever. It is Horizon Zero Dawn. Because it came out.
I would have never guessed that.
You wouldn't have guessed that because it came out. That was the whole joke, is because it came out around the same time as Breath of the Wild. And so it got overshadowed.
I was playing Breath of the Wild.
Yes. And then we kept making fun of it because it came out around the same time. The second one came out around the same time as Elden Ring.
Listen, 7,672 games came out in 2017. Okay. On Steam alone. You think that I know every single game that came out in 2017?
Wait, hold on. How many?
672.
How many came out on Steam in 2017?
7,672 games came out on Steam in 2017.
I feel like you're reading that wrong. And also, that probably has to be 90% hot garbage.
Dude, listen, there is 7,672 games that came out on Steam in 2017 as reported in 2018, January 10th.
All right.
I would give you 6,000 of them could suck total ass, but I don't really know, man. I didn't play about, 7,641 of them. That's just how it goes.
Yeah. Anyway, you could check out Game Rant's list to see some of the overshadowed games because they do bring up some good ones as well.
There you go.
Chase Bunker.
Other notable things that was announced: Final Fantasy 16 got a new trailer.
Kyle Helmstetter.
I'm so excited for Final Fantasy 16.
I'm not.
This is That Game Show.
So, if you probably saw us or saw the announcement, we were at Tampa Bay Comic Con over the previous weekend, over the last weekend of July. Kyle, first off, you sound substantially better. You got a bit of the con crud. You sounded awful.
I did.
When you were sick.
I felt like that.
All right.
And now I feel kind of or a little bit like that.
He found the soundboard again.
I found the soundboard again. I haven't figured out. I will figure this out, though. Don't worry. By the next episode, I will figure out how to upload my own sounds, and I will change this game entirely. But for now, you got 6 sounds. So
what's funny is that, with you and the soundboard, you could essentially be the morning show producer DJ that just makes a whole bunch of random sounds. You have the soundboard at your disposal, which, by the way, frightens me to all hell because I don't trust you with any of those sounds.
We are going to get good with the soundboard. Trust
God,
me. It's going to be great.
I hope so because let me see if I can look at I have the same things, but
I will say some of this may be limited by Discord Prime or the Nitro, which I don't have, so maybe I cannot play things from other servers because we're in a private thing. So I'm not sure, but I will figure it out. Don't worry.
Okay. Excellent. You don't have to. Anyway, darn. So we're at Tampa Bay Comic Con. It was a lot of fun. Holy crap. That was probably the biggest crowd we've ever seen attend the con. It was also the hottest day I think it's
Yeah, it was.
ever been for the con.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Trust me. Again, Loki here wears layer after layer of black leather, so that's so sweet in 100-degree weather. I will say this. So my fiance and I came on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and we walked from the car to the con, which was what, a 5-minute walk maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was wearing, so this is the thing, when we drove from Orlando, I was already wearing the leather, minus the top layer, but I was still wearing the leather shirt and the pants. And I was like, okay, that's fine. It's not going to be that bad. It's kind of bad. Kind of already sweating in the car a little bit, but I'm like, that's fine. We'll get to the con. It'll be fine. Boy, was I wrong. It was not fine. I got out of the car. I put on the top. We were walking over, and my nuts were dripping like a faucet. And I was like, this is terrible. And it got to the worst of the points when I was like sitting outside in the line to get in, and you had to wrap around the building a little bit. And I was like, I'm gonna die here. And
Thank you for catching that.
I got, you know what though? Hold on, I got this. I was gonna die though.
Oh, okay. That's better. I like that.
See, yeah,
I like that
self-censor,
better.
right?
Yeah, I like that better.
That's good. That's good. So we got inside, and I had to take off my shirt, and I had like a sleeveless shirt underneath, and I was like, let me just air out for a little bit, maybe like 10 minutes. And I told myself Saturday, I'm not gonna do that again. And you know what happened Saturday?
You did it again.
I did it again. The wait was 35 minutes to get in because it was so packed.
Yeah.
That is insanity.
I felt bad that I had to leave you guys in line because we had to be at the Newlywed Game, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. I felt like I was probably like going to pass out from like a heat stroke just waiting at the food trucks. Like, it was ridiculously hot. Like, it's ridiculously hot for me in just shorts and a t-shirt. So I could have only imagined like what you felt like with all those layers.
I wanted to, myself, honestly. It was, my nuts were broiling. I was broiling. Not even just like an anatomical part of me. It was all of me that was. And I really hated it.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I think we hit 101 degrees both days. And I don't know if you saw this, Tampa Bay Comic Con next year, 2024.
Yes.
Will be in late August,
yes.
not late July.
They saw the heat and said, nah, we ain't doing this again. Late August.
They were like, yeah, we got some feedback from everybody. The feedback was unanimously, let's not do it again in July. So we're going to make it in August, which is probably not going to change the temperature realistically. It's probably still going to be about 103 or something. But nonetheless, I'm happy that they're trying. So yeah, that was our intro to Comic-Con was, oh my God, is it hot outside?
Yes. I think that I kind of applaud the decision. It's like, okay, they listened to everybody, especially like when you had as big of a crowd as it was this year. Yeah, you kind of really have to do it. My fear is, for some reason, there is always, in late August, early September, there's always seems to be like one hurricane out in the Atlantic that may or may not be hitting.
That's true. That part is true. And you know what? Maybe it'll make it cooler this year, or next year rather.
Yeah.
So
we'll
can't
see.
say I'm against it, but hopefully it's not a hurricane.
Yeah.
It's just like a rainstorm that comes in. That being said, you did mention one of the biggest years. I allegedly heard over 50,000 attendees through the weekend.
Good for them.
A fantastic turnout, especially with everything that's kind of been going on in terms of like, how cons are going to work structurally with the laws and stuff. What a great turnout. Seriously,
yes.
What a good time
I know that our friends over at Slash Ventures said that they had a good amount of business on both Saturday and Sunday. I remember going in there on Saturday, and like this was just Saturday at like 2:00, and that vendor hall was packed.
It was actually shoulder to shoulder in some parts.
Mm-hmm. It was ridiculous. Like, first off, like, good for them. And I know that a lot of vendors made a lot of money. And so I'm happy for them that it was worth it. I'm happy for the con because you and I have been doing this for a long time. It's almost been 10. We've almost been doing this for 10 years now. Next year will be 10 years. And so I know that's weird to think about. And it's been great seeing this evolve into something big. And like their guests have been getting bigger and bigger. And the attendance has been showing up as well. And I'm happy for them.
Fantastic. This was a great year. I really loved the vendors. I didn't see the guests personally, but like, I mean, Grant Gustin from The Flash, dude, I love that show.
Yeah.
And he seems like a nice, wholesome guy from everything I've ever seen. So like, that's a great, person to have coming on to the set. Like, they definitely worked hard. It seemed like, I mean, the con was run immaculately. There was nothing that I could see that was like, ooh, that's a little suspect over there. Like, they did great,
Yes. You're right.
I have no complaints at all. Fantastic turnout. Fantastic everything.
Yeah. I think, I really don't have much that I could say. I'm complaining. We met some great people. Special shout out over to the Gaming Rogue over on Instagram, who posted a lot of photos. Him interacting with you twice. Also over on Twitter, Roberto Ruiz said that he enjoyed the show. We had a lot of people come by. We were teasing the show. We were teasing what we were going to do, and we had to nix an entire game. And I felt bad, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, it's probably the best thing to do just because of the fact that, like, everybody was just enjoying all the other games. Like Geeky Newlywed Game and Backseat Drawer were great. I feel like this was the best Backseat Drawer we've had.
Oh, the Backseat Drawing competition was on point. I was definitely surprised with how engaged we, not only before we even started, people were like, I want to play. I'm like, whoa, okay.
It's like, whoa, hey there. Yeah, we met a lot of great people. I teased also, I did the Not So Newlywed Game. So when I found out like Bob Eubanks was going to be there, I'm a big game show fan. Like I loved watching game shows growing up. Yes, there you go. Thank you for correlating the two. And so when I got the opportunity to go be on the Not So Newlywed Game, my wife and I were like, yeah, we could definitely do this. And we thought because it was going to be at Tampa Bay Comic Con, they were going to ask like nerd related questions. And we got our facts straight, like, okay, DC Marvel, favorite superhero, and all that stuff. And so I'm going in thinking, we've got a really good shot at this. And the first question that comes out of Bob Eubanks' mouth, and mind you, I'm the first contestant, so I have to be the first one to take the brunt out of all this, is, fellas, which one of your wife's friends would you like to see streak across the stage naked? And I thought about it, and I'm like, not only are we not going to win this thing now, divorce is probably coming. And I had to now think strategically. So I'm just like, okay, I need to think of a name that my wife might say.
What's her mom's name?
That was not the answer. And
good. You've learned something.
Yes.
Good.
And so I said a name, and not only did my wife, and not only did she not get the name right, she didn't even get the right gender. She just said somebody different. So she was just like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna go for the joke," and it's like, I never take games.
My sexuality is a joke. I don't joke about that.
Yeah. I love telling that story, and also I'm really surprised with how many people are also siding with her. It's like, yeah, you should have just gone with the joke. It's like, oh, I apparently should. People know me better than me. Like, I should have just gone with the joke, and more people are siding with her.
Now, in fairness, what if you had gone with the joke and she hadn't? What do you do then?
That's a good question.
What happens then?
I don't know. Because that could easily set up the argument of, come on, you should know me, but at the same time, it's a double-edged sword because
it is.
Because I could have said, come on, you should have known me, but then I also could have said it's a competition, I'm competitive. So I feel like no matter what, I'm just wrong.
And in fairness, you can't play this card, but you can in your mind. She's also wrong. She's not really wrong.
That made 0 sense.
Women are never wrong, Chase. We literally covered this in the first segment.
That's going to do it for us here on That Game Show. All the music you heard on the show is provided by the band Power Glove. For music, tour dates, and merch, check out powergloveband.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Chase Bunker. You can follow Kyle on Instagram at Scandinavian_sensations. Kyle is just freaking out because his hand is now missing on the green screen.
Oh my God, my hand disappeared.
If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Tell me down below.
Ring the bell so that you know.
Yeah, ring the bell so you know, because good luck finding us if you don't. Also, put down in the comments below, should I have gone with the joke answer or not? Yes or no. Just put that down there as well. If you are listening to this through your podcast, thanks a lot for taking the time. Make sure you follow us. Subscribe because I'm rambling at this point. Why do I even bother?
No, stay safe while driving, friends.
Yes.
Stay safe while driving.
Yeah, wait till a stoplight and then do it. All right. So for Kyle Helmstetter, I'm Chase Bunker. Thank you all very much for listening, and we'll talk to you all in the next episode.
I'll see you in episode 200.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you check out more episodes on iTunes and on our YouTube page, youtube.com/thatgameshow. And follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/thatgameshow.